On my birthday, my wife brought home a poor male student she had been sponsoring to celebrate with us, but he turned around and threw the $1 million necklace I had given my wife into the trash. What is this? This necklace is so outdated. Who in their right mind would choose something like this? For a moment, all our relatives and friends were speechless. My wife, however, seemed unfazed, even praising him for his unique taste and putting on the cheap ring he had bought at a flea market. Seeing this, I didn't argue or make a scene. Instead, I threw our marriage certificate into the trash can as well. Well said. It's about time this old husband was replaced. Wishing you both a happy marriage. When everyone saw the marriage certificate in the trash can, they fell silent. After all, everyone knew how much my wife and I loved each other. I had even given up the opportunity to study abroad for her. After a moment, my wife, Olivia Harper, was the first to react, her face filled with anger. Enough, Ethan Miller. Lucas Carter was just joking around. Is this really necessary? Everyone is just staring at your face instead of eating. At that moment, Olivia Harper's close friend stepped in to smooth things over, smiling and saying, "Come on, it's just because she loves you so much. She's jealous, isn't she? In my opinion, you're the one who knows how to handle your husband. Unlike my husband." At this point, all the men at the table were laughing at me, trying to brush it off and move on. But Lucas Carter, the male college student she was sponsoring, remained unconcerned. "Look at you, Ethan Miller, acting so sour. I can smell it from across the table. A big man talking in such a passive-aggressive way. What? Did I say something wrong? Zhong Jia is such a flower, and you're just a pile of manure. You should be happy." After saying that, Lucas Carter gave me a disdainful glance and intertwined his fingers with Olivia Harper's under the table. Watching the two of them banter back and forth, I couldn't help but sneer. In just 5 short years, Olivia Harper and I had already become strangers. There was a time when her eyes were only for me. Back then, I was focused on my studies and didn't bother with my appearance. When I first met her parents, many of her relatives looked down on me. They even mocked her for having such poor taste in choosing a boyfriend like me. Olivia Harper, however, clutched my hand tightly and retorted angrily. "In my eyes, he's the best. No matter what he does, I love him. Anyone who dares to say another word can get out." Ever since then, in front of others, she always acted like a little firecracker, protecting me and not allowing anyone to say anything bad about me. But ever since Lucas Carter came into her life, she changed. She no longer cares about me or speaks up for me. She even helps Lucas Carter mock and humiliate me in front of others. Especially in recent years, Olivia Harper quit her job to stay home and become a full-time housewife. I have to work 2 jobs just to barely keep up with her extravagant spending habits. I thought that if I worked hard to give her a good life, she would remember my kindness and we would be happy together forever. But I was wrong. Today, to celebrate Olivia Harper's birthday, I used all my savings to buy her the most expensive and beautiful necklace, only for Lucas Carter to throw it into the trash can. In the past, I might have gotten into a heated argument with Olivia Harper. But now, I just feel exhausted and don't want to care about anything anymore. Thinking this, I stood up and said calmly, "You're right." Then I looked at Olivia Harper. "I'll give you the divorce papers in a few days. Make sure to sign them." Everyone was completely stunned. Olivia Harper's face froze. She never expected me to say such a thing. After all, it had always been her who brought up divorce, never me. I thought she would fly into a rage at my words, but instead she frowned, picked the ring out of the trash can, wiped it off, and handed it back to me. Then, facing everyone, she forced a smile. "Sorry everyone, Ethan Miller can't hold his liquor. He's drunk and talking nonsense." After saying that, she turned and glared at me. I knew she was giving me an out. If I didn't take it, I'd face months of emotional abuse. But now, I didn't care anymore. I walked up to her, looked her in the eyes, and said seriously, "I'm not joking. Let's get a divorce. The ring is a wedding gift for you and Lucas Carter." After saying that, I turned and walked away decisively. Just as I reached the entrance, Olivia Harper suddenly grabbed my hand and frowned. "What's wrong with you today? You're drunk before you even started drinking. You're ruining my party, and you don't even care about the occasion. There are so many people watching. What are you doing?" Before I could respond, Lucas Carter's voice suddenly echoed from the living room. Olivia Harper, stop messing around and eat your food before it gets cold. Ignore him. Old people need to take a walk after eating. Upon hearing Lucas Carter's voice, Olivia Harper immediately let go of my hand, sighed, and said to me, "You can go take a walk if you want. It'll give you time to reflect on your bad temper." She then turned around and hurried over to serve Lucas Carter some food and peel shrimp for him. Their laughter drifted into my ears, but I felt unusually calm. This wasn't the first time she'd dodged the issue. Over the years, she'd let Lucas Carter meddle in our lives under the guise of being her brother, constantly pushing my boundaries. Perhaps in the past, I would have argued with her fiercely, but now, I just wanted to leave as soon as possible. After leaving home, I checked into a hotel and called Benjamin Taylor. Over the years, I had sacrificed many opportunities for promotion to take care of Olivia Harper. Years ago, Benjamin Taylor had already wanted me to manage the branch office in B City, but I had always refused because I needed to take care of Olivia Harper, who didn't work. But now it seemed clear that she wasn't worth it. Benjamin Taylor was very pleased with my decision and laughed over the phone. "You finally agreed to Mr. Miller's request. Take care of your personal matters as soon as possible and start work next Monday." I nodded and hung up the phone, looking toward the direction of my home. There were 3 days left until next week, just enough time to settle things with Olivia Harper. The next morning, I returned to the office to pack my things. Seeing the yellowed photo on the desk, I couldn't help but laugh sarcastically. It was a cheap Polaroid photo of Olivia Harper and me taken on the street when we first started dating. But she had kept it close to her heart, cherishing it dearly. She even said she would only take couple photos with me forever. But ever since Lucas Carter appeared, I've seen him post couple photos with Olivia Harper on his social media multiple times. When I confronted her about it, she refused to acknowledge her promise and snapped angrily. "Doesn't I have the right to have my own life? As long as it involved Lucas Carter, no promise mattered." Snapping back to reality, I threw the photo into the trash without a second glance. After packing everything up and moving back home, Olivia Harper was bending over to help Lucas Carter try on the new shoes she had bought for him. The boss's son also often wore designer brands, and I could tell at a glance that those shoes were worth 2 months of my salary. As for why Olivia Harper didn't work, it was obvious whose money it was. But since I had already decided to leave, none of that mattered anymore. Olivia Harper saw me come back but didn't stop what she was doing. She glanced at me and said, "I thought you weren't coming back." "Never mind. The food I bought is still left. You can heat it up yourself. Oh, and don't eat the imported lobster on the table. That's specially reserved for Lucas Carter." I put down my things and looked up to see Lucas Carter wearing new shoes, giving me a challenging smile. I watched their interaction coldly and glanced at the food on the table. A plate of stir-fried vegetables and a plate of lobster. But I'd seen it before, so it didn't surprise me. Ever since Lucas Carter stepped foot in the house, my wife had been preparing special meals for him every meal. When I asked her about it, she replied matter-of-factly, "He's my brother. What's wrong with treating him well? Besides, he's still growing. What's the matter? Are you unhappy that I'm spending a little money on him?" But when it came to me, she even bought my birthday gift from a street vendor. Once, she brought back a pair of shoes for me, claiming she had bought them specially for me, but they were a size too small. I couldn't wear them, and Olivia Harper scolded me angrily. "Why can't you wear them? We don't have much money at home. You're just living too comfortably. You can squeeze into anything." She forced me to wear the ill-fitting shoes for 2 months, causing blisters to form on my feet every day. Coming to my senses, I saw Lucas Carter wearing new shoes, hugging his wife's waist affectionately and laughing. "Thanks, Liv. You really know me well." Olivia Harper smiled, but her expression changed when she saw my calm face. She subtly pushed Lucas Carter's hand away and took a paper bag from the sofa. She softened her tone and said, "Here, this is the watch I bought for you. How could I forget you?" Seeing that I didn't move, she kindly helped me open the packaging. Inside was a familiar black watch. But I could tell at a glance that this watch had once belonged to Lucas Carter. He had posted a photo of a new watch on his social media with the caption, "Some people always think what you give them isn't good enough." And the one in the trash can in the corner was exactly the same one he had just given me. Giving me the trash she threw away, she really thought of everything. I pushed her hand away and said coldly, "No, I'll buy my own." Seeing that I wasn't grateful, Olivia Harper grew angry. "What are you being so stubborn about? You're always saying I don't treat you well, and now I buy you a gift and you don't want it." Seeing this, Lucas Carter snorted derisively, speaking in a sarcastic tone. "Ethan Miller probably thinks he's not good enough for it. It's true, such a trendy design isn't suitable for someone his age. Liv, give it to me, I don't mind." Then he snatched the watch from Olivia Harper's hand, flaunted it in front of me, and asked Olivia Harper with a smile, "How about it? Isn't it better than Ethan Miller's?" Olivia Harper didn't say anything, but she nodded with a smile while helping him adjust the watch band. Perhaps she had long grown accustomed to such preferential treatment, feeling no ripples of emotion within her. As I turned to push open the bedroom door, Olivia Harper hurriedly stopped me. She looked uneasy and said, "The room isn't tidied up yet. Why don't you eat first before going in?" Her expression was clearly off. I furrowed my brows, pushed her aside, and opened the door. But the next moment, upon seeing the scene inside, I froze in place. Our shared bedroom was in disarray, my clothes and pants were scattered everywhere, with several items trampled on the floor, covered in footprints. The documents and books on my desk were torn to shreds. The wedding portrait of Olivia Harper on the wall had fallen down, the frame shattered into pieces. I hurriedly opened the wardrobe, only to find Lucas Carter's clothes neatly folded inside. The two sets of clothes were closely pressed together, as if they belonged to a married couple. Olivia Harper, who was about to speak, was interrupted by Lucas Carter, who barged in unconcerned. "Anyway, these clothes of yours are all rags. They're just taking up space. Might as well throw them away." At that moment, Olivia Harper noticed the shattered photo frame in my hand and frowned. "I'll have someone reprint this photo in a couple of days. Lucas Carter is young and careless, don't mind him." After speaking, she turned to Lucas Carter outside the door and said with concern, "The room is messy, don't come in yet. You might get hurt." I sneered inwardly. I recalled the time when Olivia Harper and I went hiking. We had already planned the route, but Lucas Carter insisted on changing it and took us down an unmarked path on the map. When I tried to stop him, Olivia Harper blamed me for stifling the young man's sense of adventure. In the end, under Lucas Carter's lead, we got lost. To stay warm in the night, Olivia Harper gave all the clothes from my backpack to Lucas Carter. I was frozen stiff, but when the rescue team arrived, she was crying beside Lucas Carter, saying, thank goodness Lucas Carter is okay." Perhaps after that, I should have woken up from my dream. Thinking of this, I said softly, "No need to print it. The divorce papers I mentioned last time are already on the table. Sign them when you have time." Olivia Harper froze, then suddenly seemed to think of something and snapped angrily. "It's just a mess in the room. Is that really worth making a joke about?" Before I could respond, Lucas Carter burst in. "Olivia Harper, come eat dinner with us. I peeled the lobster just for you." He then turned to me with a sneer. "Who would have thought an old man would resort to divorce? You've been watching too many short videos." In the past, hearing this, I would have immediately snapped back in anger, but now, I simply closed the door. Out of sight, out of mind. Olivia Harper knocked on the door twice outside, then there was no sound. After packing up my things, I confirmed the pickup time with the delivery company. I don't know how long it took, but the laughter and commotion in the living room had stopped. Olivia Harper opened the door, holding the divorce papers in her hand. She placed the divorce papers on the table, unlike her usual accusatory tone, and spoke softly. "I know what you're angry about. It's because I didn't care about him as much as you do, isn't it? But you should understand me too. We've been together since we were kids. Over the years, not only have I supported him, but he's also brought me so many happy memories. We're not siblings, but we're closer than siblings. You can't let him cut all ties with me." Seeing her mention Lucas Carter with such a tender expression, I couldn't help but wonder if she was even fooling herself. Anyone could see the possessiveness in Lucas Carter's eyes, yet she alone was blind to it. No, perhaps she saw it, but she chose to ignore it. She had said these words many times before, and I had believed her many times. But now, I won't believe them anymore. Seeing that I didn't respond, she grabbed my hand and said softly, "Come on, don't be angry. I'll pretend I didn't see the divorce papers. It's just a mess in the room, we can call a cleaner to tidy it up later. I understood that she was giving me an out. But I wasn't going to take it. I said indifferently. No need. I've already cleaned up. I hope you'll sign the divorce papers soon. Taking it to court won't benefit you. With that, I gathered my clothes and left. Olivia Harper was about to stop me, but suddenly Lucas Carter's exclusive ringtone sounded, and she hurriedly answered it with a smile. Even as I walked out the door, I only frowned slightly and didn't try to stop her. She didn't know that once I left, I would never return. 2 days later, while I was handling the paperwork for my new job, I suddenly received a call from Olivia Harper. Ethan Miller, where are you? The property management said the water pipe burst and there's a leak at home. Hurry back and fix it. The new computer I bought for Lucas Carter is still there. Don't let it get wet. When I didn't respond, she grew even more impatient. Can you hear me? I'm busy with work. Hurry back and fix it. If you don't expect me to forgive you. Then she hung up without another word. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh sarcastically. I've been gone for 2 days, and she didn't even notice. This is her so-called love for me. How hypocritical. Thinking about it, I blocked Olivia Harper. But the next moment, my phone buzzed with a message. It was from Lucas Carter. He sent a photo of himself with Olivia Harper. He added, "Sorry, Ethan Miller. Your wife is out shopping with me right now." After reading it, I couldn't help but laugh coldly. This was what Olivia Harper meant by working overtime at the office. In the end, it was just to accompany her lover on a date. Ever since Lucas Carter started staying at our house frequently, I felt like I had become their personal maid. Not only did I have to work during the day, but I also had to do laundry and cook dinner when I came home at night. If I dared to resist, Olivia Harper would start with emotional abuse. But now, the two of them can forget about controlling me anymore. Coming back to my senses, I didn't bother replying to him and decided to go back to work. But before long, Olivia Harper changed her number and sent me 2 more messages, demanding that I fix the leaky pipe and not shirk my responsibilities. I glanced at them and blocked her immediately. Suddenly, another call came in. It was Jake Thompson, inviting me to a bar to celebrate my promotion. I quickly agreed. When I arrived, the place was noisy and dimly lit, and it took me a while to find them. There were 4 of them in total. Upon closer inspection, there was also a woman wearing a red dress with a slender waist. She walked over to me with grace and smiled sweetly. "Ethan Miller, don't you remember me?" I finally realized it was Sophia Reynolds. She was my regular dance partner in the social dance club during university, and we had worked together for 3 years. Back then, everyone in the club said we were a perfect match. But fate had other plans, and we eventually parted ways. Jake Thompson joked. "We're here to celebrate your promotion." I went out of my way to bring Sophia Reynolds all the way from B-City. "Don't let her down." Sophia Reynolds blushed and said, "What are you talking about?" But I was secretly shocked. She was in B-City. It was the city where I was about to start my new job. After 2 rounds of drinks, Jake Thompson seemed to be trying to set us up. He must have known about my divorce and the unpleasant situation with Olivia Harper. After a few more drinks, we started playing some drinking games. With the encouragement of my friends, the distance between Sophia Reynolds and me grew closer. As the atmosphere grew tense, the others began to tease us. "Ethan Miller, you knew Sophia Reynolds' feelings for you back in school. Now that you're divorced, aren't you going to accept her?" Hearing this, I looked at Sophia Reynolds, who was blushing, and was about to speak when an unexpected guest burst into the restaurant. "Ethan Miller, did you leave me and run away from home just for her?" I turned around to see that it was Olivia Harper. But wasn't she supposed to be on a date with Lucas Carter at this time? She grabbed my arm and glared at Sophia Reynolds. "You little slut, how dare you seduce someone else's husband?" Apparently not satisfied, she raised her hand to slap her. I quickly pushed her hand away. "What are you doing here?" Unbeknownst to me, she was wearing high heels and lost her balance, falling to the ground in front of everyone. She burst into tears. The usually strong-willed Olivia Harper, with red eyes, accused me tearfully. "Ethan Miller, you promised to be with me forever. How could you cheat on me?" Looking at her stubborn gaze, I should have felt pity, but instead, I found it utterly ridiculous. Back when she stayed overnight at Lucas Carter's house, I had asked her the same question. But what did she say? She replied, "Ethan Miller, we're already married. What more do you want? Do you expect me to stay by your side every single moment? Don't be so unreasonable." Now, I was merely using her own words against her. I ignored her tear-streaked eyes and coldly said, "You should ask yourself that first." Her face turned pale, and she couldn't say a word. I took Jake Thompson and Sophia Reynolds to another area to drink. After some time, it seemed like Olivia Harper had finally left. After the commotion caused by Olivia Harper, we only drank a few more sips and went home separately. Jake Thompson assigned me the task of sending Sophia Reynolds home. I froze. Does he really want me to find another one? Back when Sophia Reynolds and I were in the university dance club, everyone assumed we were a couple. We also had feelings for each other. But Sophia Reynolds just didn't seem right for me. She had a beautiful face and a stunning figure, enough to have a long line of admirers at school. She could easily be called the school beauty. But for some reason, she always seemed to follow me around. One afternoon, we happened to meet by the plane tree grove on campus. Sophia Reynolds followed me from behind and walked alongside me. I was moved by the subtle romantic atmosphere around us when she suddenly stopped and said with a frown, "Ethan Miller, have you forgotten?" Her words startled me, and confusion arose in my heart. It wasn't until she turned around and brushed her hair aside, revealing a scar behind her ear, that I finally understood. She was clearly the little girl who had been bullied by a group of troublemakers when I was a teenager. She was clearly the little girl who lived next door when I was a teenager. Back then, I was extremely rebellious. One day, I skipped school and saw Sophia Reynolds being chased and bullied by some thugs on the street. I got into a fight with them. When Sophia Reynolds saw someone helping me, she also tried her best to assist me. In the end, I was injured in the abdomen, while she had a large scar on the back of her ear, which she had never removed. I never expected to meet her again here. Coming to my senses, I realized she had drunk quite a lot and was already a bit drunk. I helped her into the car, and as soon as she got in, she threw herself into my arms. I was about to push her away. But I felt a dampness on the side of my neck and her shoulders trembling. She was crying, wasn't she? In an instant, my heart raced. I awkwardly lifted her face and gently wiped away her tears. Sophia Reynolds finally spoke, her eyes reddened. "I didn't want to leave you back then either, but they insisted I go abroad, and I couldn't." Seeing her anxiously trying to explain, I couldn't help but interrupt her. "It's okay, let's not talk about the past anymore. As long as we could meet again, it was already the greatest gift fate could give." After sending her home, I unexpectedly encountered Olivia Harper at my own doorstep. Seeing me, a glimmer of light flashed in Olivia Harper's eyes. She ran toward me, handing me a paper bag, as if she had completely forgotten what had just happened. Inside were a pair of new shoes. She smiled awkwardly. "I bought new shoes for Lucas Carter that day. You didn't like the watch I gave you, so I bought these specially for you. Take a look and see if they fit." I looked at her helplessly and said, "Olivia Harper, you know we have nothing left between us, don't you?" She paused for a moment, then laughed again. "I know. You're just angry with me for a moment. You loved me for so many years, how could you suddenly stop loving me?" "I don't believe it." Hearing this, I froze, not knowing what to say. There was a time when I was just as devoted as she was. We had loved each other for so long, even getting married, yet she could so easily cheat on me with Lucas Carter. But that was the truth, and there was no denying it. I pushed her shoes away. "I'm sorry, I no longer need them." Then I turned and went upstairs, looking back at her and saying, "Sign the divorce papers as soon as possible." In the days that followed, I didn't see Olivia Harper again. I assumed she had come to her senses. I recalled the look in her eyes as she left that night, still gazing at me with such sincerity. Perhaps, at some point long ago, I had been moved by that very same look. Coming back to my senses, Sophia Reynolds wrapped her arms around my shoulders. She wasn't busy with work lately and had come here just to relax and enjoy herself. The apartment she was renting was right next to mine. Since I suffered from stomach issues and didn't know how to cook, she cooked for me every day. Looking at the steaming hot dishes on the table, I couldn't remember the last time I had eaten something like this. Sophia Reynolds noticed I wasn't eating and pouted, saying, "What's wrong? Doesn't it suit your taste?" I smiled and shook my head, then picked up the bowl and started eating. Perhaps the simplest form of happiness is just this. The two of us, sharing meals together through the seasons, would continue like this until the end of our lives. After dinner, Sophia Reynolds pulled out a delicate gemstone cufflink from somewhere and handed it to me, smiling. Did someone forget what today is? I froze, realizing I hadn't thought about it either. She sighed and fastened the cufflink for me, saying gently, "Are you being silly? Today is your birthday." The light in her eyes cast a soft glow. In that moment, I felt a warm current surge through my body, and I was overcome with emotion. Since I'd been with Olivia Harper, I'd rarely celebrated my birthday. I'd always saved every penny for her. Until Lucas Carter came along, I had completely cut myself off from birthdays. Not only my own birthday, but also Olivia Harper's birthday. Because Olivia Harper wouldn't let me attend. Coming back to my senses, Sophia Reynolds served me some food and said, "Let's go out to eat tonight. We'll celebrate your birthday." I nodded. I had thought we'd just go to a regular place, but she had actually made a reservation at a restaurant in advance. When we drove there, I realized it was the very same couple's restaurant I had always wanted to visit with Olivia Harper. We each took our seats. Sophia Reynolds answered a call and rushed to the door. I watched her back, afraid she might leave. Suddenly, I saw two familiar figures. It was Olivia Harper and Lucas Carter. Lucas Carter and Olivia Harper walked in holding hands. Olivia Harper even kindly adjusted his collar. Seeing this scene, I felt a bit dazed. It seemed like I had once been treated this way too. But even back then, Olivia Harper still refused to come to a couple's restaurant with me. So she had already grown tired of me from that time onward? Just as I was about to look away, the two of them suddenly walked toward me. Olivia Harper stared at me intently, insisting that the waiter merge our tables. Coincidentally, our table was a four-seater. Olivia Harper and Lucas Carter sat across from each other. Earlier, Olivia Harper had subconsciously wanted to sit with me, but Lucas Carter pulled her back and mocked. "Who would have thought you'd find a new girlfriend so quickly, old man?" Olivia Harper only then noticed the extra set of utensils on my side of the table. I took the utensils back and ignored him. As if to assert his territory, Ethan Miller ordered a plate of lobster and said in a high-pitched voice, "Olivia Harper, I want to eat shrimp, but I don't know how to peel them." Olivia Harper naturally picked up the shrimp and began peeling it skillfully and meticulously. Watching her focused expression, I suddenly recalled my stomach ailment and took a bite of the shrimp on the table. Olivia Harper didn't even bother to peel the shrimp for me. Instead, she erupted in anger. "You're so old and you have no self-control. This plate of shrimp is specially made for Lucas Carter. He's still young and growing." And in the past, she hadn't even bothered to peel shrimp for me, let alone do something as simple as serving food. Coming back to his senses, Lucas Carter mocked me. "Ethan Miller, you've been married for so long, and Olivia Harper hasn't peeled shrimp for you even once? Look at you, so envious and jealous. How pitiful." He had thought Olivia Harper would speak up for him, but this time she only furrowed her brows. Just then, Sophia Reynolds arrived. Sophia Reynolds saw the two of them, paused for a moment, then sat down beside me naturally. She first replaced my plate with a clean one, then neatly arranged the items on my table. She also tidied up my collar and said with a helpless expression, "What's going on? Your collar isn't even straight." Her warm breath brushed against my ear, making me feel as though I were somewhere else. Coming back to my senses, I saw Olivia Harper staring intently at Sophia Reynolds, as if trying to take something back. Ironically, Olivia Harper had never done these things for me before. Every time I saw her do these things for Lucas Carter, I would watch her, hoping she would notice me. But Olivia Harper coldly said, "Don't you have hands? Can't you do it yourself?" After that, I stopped hoping for her attention. The meal ended quickly, and the two of them forcing us to share a table had no effect on Sophia Reynolds and me. After taking Sophia Reynolds back, she suddenly mentioned that she wanted me to accompany her to a business cocktail party the next day. She needed a male companion. I gladly agreed. It was just a business cocktail party. I'd attended many such events at the company before. Upon arriving, however, I realized it wasn't what I expected. Not only had some business tycoon booked the best hotel in the city center, but the grand hall was decorated with numerous items related to the character for longevity. It turned out to be a birthday celebration. By then, the hotel lobby was already crowded with people. The men were all dressed in suits, talking animatedly, while the women, dressed in extravagant evening gowns, whispered and giggled. This scene left me feeling incredibly awkward. Since I hadn't expected such a grand affair, I had only worn a plain suit. Fortunately, the style was fairly casual, so no one noticed. Sophia Reynolds linked her arm through mine, as if she could sense my nervousness. She whispered, "Ethan Miller, just take a deep breath and relax. I have something to attend to, I'll be right back." I nodded. While wandering around the hall, I unexpectedly spotted Lucas Carter and Sophia Reynolds again. They were surrounding an elderly man, bowing and scraping. Olivia Harper was doing all the talking, while Ethan Miller played the role of the sycophant. It was utterly ridiculous. From the conversations around me, it was clear that the business world was currently vying for a major project, and everyone was busy networking. No wonder Olivia Harper was so eager. As I was observing them, I didn't expect Lucas Carter to recognize me at once. He was trying to attract others' attention, and I happened to arrive just in time. He strode up to me, gave me a once-over, and sneered. "Oh, I thought it was someone else. It's just you, the good-for-nothing. What's the matter? Did you lose your job and have nowhere to go, so you came here to cause trouble and pick up trash?" He laughed twice and mocked me again. "There's nothing here for you. If you don't leave, I'll call security to kick you out." He spoke in a voice that wasn't too loud or too soft, just loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. For a moment, everyone froze. Then they looked at me with a different expression. They could tell at a glance that my suit was just an ordinary one. They began to whisper among themselves. "Who is this guy? How did he get into Arthur Reynolds' birthday party? Could it be that he's also here to compete in the project? Who knows? How did such a lowlife even get in here?" Lucas Carter listened with great delight, then raised his eyebrows at me and said, "Ethan Miller, it's been ages. I'll toast to you." At that moment, Olivia Harper walked over. When she saw me, a flash of light crossed her eyes. Then she pretended to be aloof and said, "Ethan Miller, even if you followed me here, I'll never forgive you." Before I could refuse, Lucas Carter had already grabbed his glass and walked toward me. Just as I expected, when he was just a step away from me, he stumbled twice, spilling all the wine on himself. Before I could react, he grabbed my sleeve. "If you don't want to drink, why did you bump into me? Don't you have eyes? Trash belongs in the trash can. Why are you meddling in things that don't concern you? Is this your way of getting revenge?" His words immediately drew everyone's attention. They all looked at me with disdain, as if I were some kind of lowly creature. Lucas Carter, despite being splashed with red wine, couldn't hide the smug expression on his face. I coldly replied, "Did I bump into you? Just check the surveillance footage." Lucas Carter laughed loudly upon hearing this. You want to see the hotel surveillance footage? Forget it. Today's Arthur Reynolds' birthday, so I won't make things hard for you. Just crawl on the ground and bark like a dog, and I'll forgive you. How about that? Fair deal?" Everyone burst into laughter upon hearing this. Looking at his smug expression, a surge of anger welled up in my throat. Just as I was about to explode, a familiar voice suddenly rang out. "I didn't know. How did such a thing end up in my family?" Olivia Harper walked over elegantly in a purple evening gown. Lucas Carter froze upon seeing her, then mocked. I wondered who it was. "Turns out it's your little lover." Just then, a cough sounded from the stage. Everyone looked up to see an elderly man in a Chinese-style suit standing on the stage, looking energetic. Arthur Reynolds, with a furious expression, ordered the security guards. "Take him out." Lucas Carter was glaring at me, waiting to see me make a fool of myself, but suddenly realized that the security guards were coming for him. His expression was priceless. Arthur Reynolds then smiled and walked down from the stage, shaking my hand. Everyone was stunned. When had the city's business tycoon come to know me, a nobody? Later, through Sophia Reynolds, I learned that this business tycoon was actually her grandfather. After the cocktail party, everyone quickly uncovered the relationship between Lucas Carter and Sophia Reynolds. As a result, Sophia Reynolds' reputation in the business world plummeted. Sophia Reynolds not only failed to secure the project but also tarnished her reputation within the industry. As a result, many of the company's partners withdrew their support. In the following period, Arthur Reynolds invited Sophia Reynolds to take me to his old mansion for a casual meal. Sophia Reynolds clung to Arthur Reynolds' arm, acting spoiled, but Arthur Reynolds showed no signs of annoyance. After the meal, Arthur Reynolds kept me behind. His eyes, weathered by time, exuded wisdom. It seemed as though he could see straight into one's soul. I stared at him blankly until he burst into laughter and said, "There's no need to be so formal. Are you, a young man, afraid of an old man like me?" I finally relaxed. Arthur Reynolds asked about my circumstances and my aspirations. Finally, he revealed his true purpose. He smiled kindly. "Sophia Reynolds likes you, I can tell. As for me, I didn't think much of you at first." My heart skipped a beat, and he continued. "But now, I choose to trust my granddaughter's judgment." I couldn't contain my excitement, wondering how I had caught his eye. But now, it was truly a step toward success. We chatted for a long time before returning home. Back at home, Sophia Reynolds leaned against me and whispered softly, "From now on, no one is allowed to bully you." My heart felt bittersweet as I held her tightly, as if embracing my own barren heart. Thankfully, I didn't miss her. Perhaps fate is truly mysterious. When I was with Olivia Harper, I thought I had found happiness in this life. We were indeed happy for a time. But I never imagined that happiness would be so fleeting, as brief as a moment of hesitation. From the moment Lucas Carter appeared, happiness turned into misery. When I came to my senses, Olivia Harper was already packing our belongings to leave. I smiled and asked her, "Isn't it too early? We still have one more day." Sophia Reynolds glanced at me and scolded playfully. "What's too early? I'm afraid that certain someone who hasn't divorced yet will cause trouble again." I froze, suddenly remembering that I had forgotten the most important thing. I hadn't divorced Olivia Harper yet. I apologized repeatedly. "Give me one more day. I'll definitely handle it." Just as I was about to make the call, Olivia Harper's phone rang. I answered, and she spoke excitedly. "Ethan Miller, you finally answered. I knew you wouldn't abandon me." I rubbed my temples, wondering how she could still be so stubborn. I said coldly, "What do you want?" She paused for a moment, then spoke seriously. "There's something you left behind. Can you come over tomorrow for dinner?" Hearing this, I wanted to refuse outright. But then I remembered the divorce papers and knew I had to go. I might as well clarify things with Olivia Harper while I was there. The next day, I arrived at the location Olivia Harper had sent me. It was a couple's restaurant I had once wanted to visit with her. But over the years, that wish had never been fulfilled. I never imagined that I would return here to discuss divorce. I walked in and noticed that the table had already been set with food. Olivia Harper looked at me expectantly and said, "These are all your favorite dishes." I examined each dish carefully. They were indeed delicious, every single one was something I had loved during the early days of our relationship. It turned out she wasn't unaware, she simply hadn't wanted to acknowledge me before. But people change. Just like she no longer loves me and has fallen for Lucas Carter. I no longer enjoy these dishes either. I put down my chopsticks and said directly, "What are you talking about?" She finally pulled out 2 photos from her bag. I saw that they were the Polaroid photos we took when we first started dating. I had thrown them away when I was packing, but I never expected her to keep them. But now, I feel nothing. She held the photos, her eyes reddening, and said, "Ethan Miller, do you really not want me anymore?" I didn't know how to respond without sounding so cold. In the end, I could only sigh. Yes, it's over. The divorce papers were already on the table in front of her. Whether she believed it or not, there was no going back between us.